Pressure testing high-pressure gas systems requires different gauges, procedures, and safety margins than low-pressure checks, and getting it wrong risks catastrophic failure. When you pressure test a high-pressure system, first identify the maximum operating pressure and use a test pressure that is a defined percentage above that value per code. Typically 10% above for many jurisdictions, but always confirm the local code and equipment manufacturer requirements. Never rely on a one-size-fits-all number. Select a pressure gauge with a calibrated range centered on the expected test pressure, so the needle sits in the middle of the dial for best accuracy. For systems above 2 pounds per square inch, choose gauges rated well above the highest test pressure and verify calibration within the past 12 months. Use a high-quality, certified pressure regulator and a deadweight tester or a digital transducer traceable to national standards for the most reliable readings. Avoid low-resolution gauges that can hide small leaks. Isolate the test section completely with verified blind flanges or capped fittings and purge the line of combustible gas with an inert gas like nitrogen before pressurizing. Never pressurize a system containing natural gas or liquefied petroleum gas during the leak test. Monitor pressure decay using timed, documented intervals and record ambient temperature because temperature shifts change pressure. If you see any drift beyond allowable decay, perform a soap bubble or electronic leak detection scan while holding the system at the test pressure. For threaded, soldered, or welded joints, hold at test pressure long enough for thermal equalization and to allow trapped volumes to stabilize. This is often a minimum of 30 minutes, but check code and component specs. If a test requires higher than normal pressures, ensure all components, hoses, and test fittings are pressure rated for that level and visually inspect for stress signs. Never jury rig adapter pieces. Always have emergency venting procedures and a trained team on site, and document every step in the job file so the test is auditable by inspectors and future technicians. One of the most common mistakes is using the wrong gauge range for leak testing high-pressure systems, which leads to poor resolution and missed leaks. Fix it by selecting a gauge with a full-scale range close to the expected test pressure and by keeping calibration certificates on file. Another frequent issue is failing to purge lines correctly before pressurization, risking combustion or masking problems. Correct this by following a written purge sequence with inert gas, monitoring oxygen concentration if required, and tagging the line once purged. The third typical error is applying generic low-pressure test procedures to high-pressure systems, ignoring code-specific test pressures and hold times. Remedy that by consulting the applicable code sections, manufacturer installation manuals, and by calculating test pressures as a percentage above maximum operating pressure with documented verification. BigHomeProjects.com lists contractors and inspectors who specialize in gas piping and pressure testing, making it easier for homeowners to find technicians experienced with high-pressure systems. The directory helps contractors get work by connecting them with nearby projects that require certified pressure testing and code-compliant documentation.